First, the Russian president is not happy with Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. He made that clear this morning in South Korea, telling Romney to, quote, listen to reason when you're talking about Russia. Dmitry Medvedev is apparently upset that Romney called Russia our #1 geopolitical foe.
These are very unfortunate developments, and if he's planning on doing more and suggest to Russia that he has things he's willing to do with them, he's not willing to tell the American people. This is to Russia. This is, without question, our #1 geopolitical foe.
Romney talked about Russia after Wolf Blitzer asked him about an oops moment between President Obama and the Russian president. An open microphone picked up Obama saying, quote, this is my last election. After my election, I have more flexibility. Dan Lothian is following this from the White House. The Russian president had a lot more to say about Mitt Romney, and it wasn't pretty. So tell us exactly what he said.
That's right. You know, first of all, I should say that when you cover these kinds of summits, sometimes the news isn't necessarily made in the official events, in the prepared comments. It's what happens behind the scenes. And this is a case where the world got a chance to see behind the scenes in public. And President Medvedev did weigh into this back and forth, saying this kind of phrasing is reminiscent of Hollywood. And then he went on to offer some advice through a translator.
As for ideological cliches, I have already spoken on the subject. I always get very cautious when I see a country resort to phrasings such as #1 enemy. It is very reminiscent of Hollywood and a certain period of history. I would advise two things to all U.S. presidential candidates, including the person you just mentioned. My first advice is to listen to reason when they formulate their positions. Reason never harmed a presidential candidate. My other advice is to check their clocks from time to time. It is 2012, not the mid-1970s. No matter what party a candidate represents, he has to take the current state of affairs into account. That is the only way he could count on winning.
Now, Mitt Romney did not back away from his remarks. He did clarify just a bit, though, saying that the greatest threat that the world faces is a nuclear Iran, a nuclear North Korea, but then pointing out that he believes that Russia aligns itself, in his words, with the world's worst actors. Jay Carney, White House spokesman before departing South Korea, said that this kind of talk is simply inaccurate, that while the United States doesn't always see eye to eye with Russia, that they have worked together on a number of important issues. But I can tell you Republicans have really jumped on this. The RNC, shortly after those comments were made yesterday, released a web ad, the narrative being that what Obama tells world leaders when he thinks you aren't listening. And they're pointing out that this is just an example of the president focused on his re-election campaign. Carol?
Okay.